Well, after much build-up, much excitement, GM has officially announced the car to replace the Camaro in the Cup Series next year. And that will be, drum roll, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't heard yet, it's massive, it's huge. I couldn't believe it when I saw it myself, actually. It's something I've been waiting for, something I've dreamed of. They are replacing the Camaro with the Camaro. That's right. The Camaro is going to be replaced with the Camaro. Which, by the way, isn't General Motors scaling back, or actually just, aren't they ceasing production of the Camaro? I'm pretty sure they are, and if that's the case, then how is GM being allowed to roll out a new Camaro for the Cup Series? A car that's not available, or a model, I should say, that's not available, that's not going to be available to the public for consumption. I don't quite understand that, and I'm pretty sure there were rules against that at one point in time, but evidently, as NASCAR usually does, they just waived the rules. Depending on the way that the prevailing winds are blowing every day, that's usually what they do. They just, oh, we got a rule book? Yeah. But see, the thing is that money is more interesting than integrity, so just pay us, and we'll pretend like that rule book doesn't exist. I'm not giving GM a hard time, by the way. I love GM. They've made some of my favorite cars, and the Camaro is a good car. Awesome car, actually. I mean, I think it's outlived. I think its time has come. You know, I think it's what, in 2011, I guess, 2010, when they brought this body style out, and it's not really changed that much. Since then, there's been a little, tweaks here and there, but nothing massive. So I think it's time for the Camaro to actually either be retired or be replaced with a different body style. But I just don't understand being able to run a car that's not going to be available to the public. That's just nonsensical to me. Call me crazy. We got some other things to talk about. So, as always, if you enjoy listening to me ramble about motorsports, cars, or anything else I feel like talking about, make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, turn on notifications. The works. If you're interested in diecast cars, t-shirts, hats, auto parts, anything like that, check out our eBay. The link is in the description. Follow me on Facebook and X for more motorsports content. Both of those links are in the description as well. Without further ado, let's get into the rest of the video. I gotta say this is off topic just a little bit, but I live in South Alabama, in Mobile County, but we live in a town called Fairview, which is right next to another town called Wilmer. And in order to go to any kind of store or anything like that, you either have to go to Wilmer or Sims, which is on our other side. And so my in-laws live in Wilmer, so we go to Wilmer all the time. Wilmer's a really small town. And it's got this really big water tower. As you're coming down the road, if you're heading west into Mississippi, you're going to drive right into it. You're going to drive through it. You have to. And what bothers me about that main strip, that main drag, is that on both sides of the road, it's just littered with garbage. And garbage has been out there, by the way. It's not that, like, someone picked it up and then someone just threw more garbage out there and it's going to be picked up again. That's not what happens. The county never comes out here and picks anything up. So it just builds and builds and builds, and it looks awful. Every once in a while I'll stop and pick some of it up, but when I have time. Man, I drove through there today and it grinded my gears. So if anyone watching this is in Mobile, South Alabama, tomorrow morning I have orchestrated somewhat. I made a post about it online. I don't know how many people are actually going to show up, but tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, I will be out in Wilmer picking up garbage off the side of the road. So if you have a problem with anything I say, please don't come out there and run me over intentionally, okay? I'm trying to do something to better the community, so I'm kidding. I'm half kidding. But seriously, don't run me over. But regardless, if I'm just going to use this as an opportunity to segue into, well, it's not really a segue. If you live in a small town and you constantly see garbage being like dumped out, or you just see garbage on the side of the road and no one's picking it up, it takes like 5 seconds. Find a place to pull off, a safe place to pull off, park somewhere, get out of your car, go pick it up. It literally takes like 5 minutes. It doesn't take long at all. I can cover like a quarter mile in like, I don't know, 50 minutes maybe, give or take. And that's me by myself because I've done it. So it's just a pet peeve of mine. I'm not a bleeding heart, whatever, when it comes to stuff like that, but I cannot stand litter. I cannot stand trash. I cannot stand clutter in my house or on my property, much less, on the sides of the road going into a town. It just makes the town look trashy. And we should all collectively do our part, wherever you live, to not let that happen. So Supercars is in Sandown this weekend, and so their championship format's been a focal point. A lot of people are complaining about it, and it's brought back up NASCAR's deal. NASCAR's still not made a decision on what they're going to do with their championship format, but I can almost guarantee you, based on the rumblings, because it keeps changing. Like during the season, when it was being talked about, there were a lot of rumors because a lot of people in the playoff committee wanted a full season format. That's probably not going to happen based on the things that I've been hearing and I've been reading as of late. And I think the problem NASCAR is going to run into is, at this point, like, it's a proven fact that the majority of the fan base wants the gimmicks and all that nonsense to go away. They just want a full season format. They just want to get back to basics, back to racing. The championship should be a byproduct of the races, not vice versa. So NASCAR is going to, I believe, if they do anything other than a full season format, then it's going to be catastrophic on what hardcore fan base they have left. Meaning that they're going to have well, that's a good sound. They're going to have a mass exodus. And and another reason for that is the fact that it's taken this long to get NASCAR to even... It's taken years for them to even acknowledge that there's an issue with the playoff format. And so if they don't go back to a full season format at this point, then with this leadership group, it's never going to happen. Okay, we're going to be saddled with this nonsense of some kind of playoff format. And y'all know how I feel about this, but playoffs don't belong in ball sports. Why does NASCAR have to keep changing their championship format? They've changed their championship format more than any other sports series that I know of. Period, across the board. I mean, it's not even close. What has it been, like 4 times in the past 20 years, 4 or 5 times that they've changed it? I mean, that's stupid. And the reason is because playoffs in racing are fundamentally flawed. It can't happen. It makes no sense. Okay? It just creates issues. It doesn't matter which. It doesn't matter if it's a 1-race finale or if it's a 10-race, at the end of the season. It doesn't matter. It's fundamentally flawed and it should not be in racing. Period. But Supercars seems hell-bent on following NASCAR off this cliff, and I don't understand it. They just released their 2026 schedule, and they're full steam ahead. A lot of people were hoping, because they had mentioned it before, if it wasn't successful this year, then maybe it'll just be one and done. They tried it, and they're moving on. Obviously, that was never going to happen. Obviously, there's going to be more than that, because the thing is, it's no different than NASCAR. The reason this stuff exists is because of the TV partners. And these series are becoming increasingly dependent on their TV partners' money. And I don't know, what is it, Fox that Supercars is affiliated with in Australia? I'm not really sure, because I'm not in Australia. I watch it on YouTube, their live stream on YouTube. So I don't know. I think it's Fox. Don't quote me on that. But regardless, it doesn't matter. The TV partners think that all these young kids, Gen Z or Gen X or whatever they are, have the attention span of like a squirrel. And for the most part, they're correct. There's some that are, that don't have that little of attention span, but for the most part they do. And that's not a knock. I mean, that's just the world that they've grown up. It's just conditioned them to be that way. And they think that if a championship comes down to, if championship is wrapped up with 3 races left, then no one's going to watch. But, IndyCar proved that theory to be wrong. Formula One constantly proves that theory to be wrong. It's not needed. If you want your series to be above and beyond, you want it to be huge, like NASCAR once was. Well, there's other things you can focus on rather than the championship format. In my mind, the championship format, when you start tweaking it and changing it, it's like a distraction, or it's like a Band-Aid. It's like you have all these issues, but like you choose to focus on this because that's what everyone's going to gravitate towards. So in NASCAR's case, you have a broken race car that absolutely races like garbage. And I'm sorry, I don't think horsepower is going to fix any of the issues with the car. Any of them. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think that's going to be the key to fixing it. So you have this fundamentally flawed race car that people have been begging since it was rolled out. Like, can we please do something to either fix it or get rid of it? Yet the conversation has always come back to the championship, and that's by design. Okay, it's by design. And Supercars has a similar issue. The Gen 3 car is not a terrible race car. Unlike NASCAR with the Cup Series car, that car is terrible. The Gen 3 is not terrible. It puts on good shows here and there. Not all the time, not even close to all the time, but here and there it does. I mean, Bathurst this year, I know it was raining, but that's one of the best races I've ever seen, hands down. And, when they opened up the season when Cam Waters was drag racing, I think it was Brock Feeney to start finish line. I don't remember what race track it was, and he beat him by like an inch or two. They put on good races. But overall, that car needs some work too, because there's a massive parity gap, disparity I should say, between Chevrolet and Fords. You go to one course and the Fords are like light years ahead of the Chevrolet and vice versa when you go to other courses. And I don't know if that's due to aero, if it's due to tires, whatever it is, that's a problem. It's not a good thing, and there should be steps taken to bridge that gap, but there really hasn't been. And when it's been brought up, then everyone in the industry gets their feelings hurt and like, oh, how dare you? I can't remember who was it. Brody Kostecki said something about it a couple weeks ago, and literally everyone in the series got their feelings hurt and got defensive. Oh, no, we've done so much work to bring Ford and Chevrolet closer together. Okay, well, if you have, it hasn't worked. So, you have races here and there where they're pretty close, but there shouldn't be courses that you go to where Fords are just lights out faster than Chevrolet, or Chevrolet's lights out faster than Ford. It's nonsense. When you have high speed racetracks, long straights, stuff like that, the Chevrolets are unbeatable, especially the Red Bulls, because they have way more motor than the Fords do. And then there's an aero issue and so on and so forth. Should be fixed. The point of everything that I'm saying is that I would love for Supercars to just take a step back. Okay? They had made a statement. I can't remember what outlet it was, so forgive me. And don't get mad at me if anyone from that outlet randomly watches this. But Supercars had made a comment about the fact that NASCAR pulls in like over 3 million viewers per week. And so that just tells you that's what they're aiming for. And that's fine. That's what everyone's aiming for. You always want more viewership. Supercars is never going to get there, though. Okay? It's never going to happen. It's just not going to. It's a regional sport. By regional, I mean Australia and New Zealand. They don't race outside of those countries anymore. If you are in North America, it's really difficult for like the average person to watch it, to have a way to watch it. Now you can go through YouTube and subscribe and watch their live. How many people know that though? Some people do, but like not a massive amount of people. Or you can go to their website, and I can't remember what it's Superview, I think is what it's called. Again, not a lot of people know that. And I know this for a fact because I've talked to people online who are just like completely dumbfounded, like, oh, I had no idea that you could do that. You know, so it's never going to reach. And then Australia and New Zealand don't have near the amount of people that America does, obviously. So it's never going to happen. So rather than chase the golden goose, stick with what has been working. Stick with what has been at least moderately successful to this point, because if Supercars has a negative turn like NASCAR does, like NASCAR this year, the ratings were awful. Awful. The worst that they've been since I've started watching. That could be catastrophic for Supercars if they have a negative turn like that. It could be the end of the series. I don't want to see that happen, and the more you try to infuse gimmicks into it, the more it's going to. Like, you're walking right up to that cliff, man. It's like one bad step and it's game over. You know? And you know, NASCAR, by the way, speaking of viewership numbers, Steve Phelps, of course, all they ever do is make excuses. They don't ever actually eat crow and admit that they're wrong about anything. It's always an excuse. There's always something to blame it on. You know, Steve Phelps said that, you know, we expected our numbers to be there this year, you know, with the new TV deal, and USA and all that kind of stuff. Man, shut up. Like, shut up with the excuses. Just admit that y'all screwed up, because the championship race wasn't on USA. And it was like, what, the lowest number that the championship finale has had in how many years? A long freaking time, man. It's like, shut up with that nonsense. It's not, it has, maybe a fraction of the TV deal has something to do with the viewership, or the TV deal may have to do with like a fraction of the negative viewership. Okay, I'll give you that. But that's not the fundamental issue. That's not why people aren't watching. Okay, like I said, the finale was on NBC, not on USA, and it had like 2.3 million people. It's like, just think about that for a second. 2.3 million people to watch the finale. You've built up your entire season for this championship finale, and 2.3, it may have been a little bit more than that, but regardless, that's it. I mean, we have like that many people in Birmingham and Mobile. It's just embarrassing. It's just embarrassing. But the more they create excuses, the more they try to deflect, the more they're going to find themselves in these situations. I'm interested to see how the court case goes. Hopefully, if it comes out positive for 2311, if they win, and I think they have a very good chance of doing so, by the way, we may actually see some massive changes to NASCAR, changes that need to take place. You know, based on everything that I've been seeing and I've been reading, like I said, I think 2311 in front row have a very good chance of winning. And I really, really hope before December 1st gets here that they don't settle, that they just full steam ahead, hold their feet to the fire. I heard I think it was Steve Phelps made a statement, well, this is, the France family built the sport and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, Bill France Sr. built the sport. And Bill France Jr. made it like commercially popular. I have a hard time believing that either one of those men, if they were here today, would even remotely be okay with what the next generation has done to the sport. And then what Jim France has done, which is not next generation, it's Bill Jr.'s brother. He's not fixed anything. If anything, he's made problems worse. You know? And do I think that's all his fault? No. I think Lisa is calling a lot of the shots behind the scenes. The emails that were released as part of this court case, I think, leans into the fact that she is actually the one calling the shots. And she, you know, money, money, money. Be careful about what I say, but, you know, I think both of those men would not be happy, is what I'm trying to say, about where the sport is today, about what's been done to it. You know, from an outsider's perspective, it seems like money is all anyone cares about. Like, the series doesn't really mean anything. All they want to do is make money. And to a certain extent, I understand that you want to make money and you need to make money. But at what cost? At what cost? I believe that there has already been permanent damage done to NASCAR. Permanent. As in, like, not going to fix it. You're not going to get a certain subset of the fan base back. I think that ship has sailed. So why keep doubling down on toxic, terrible decisions that have been made? I don't get it. And like I said, supercars, take note. Stop just blindly following along. Just stop it. You are not NASCAR. You're supercars. All right? Stop trying to be NASCAR of Australia. Like, my God, if you want to do that, just sell to NASCAR. They're a freaking monopoly. They'd be more than happy to buy you. Anyways, if you enjoyed listening to me ramble about motorsports cars or anything else you feel like talking about, make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, turn on notifications, the works. If you're interested in diecast cars, t-shirts, hats, auto parts, t-shirts, hats, and I know I said that twice, but like, we have racing t-shirts and then we have like normal stuff. So same thing with hats. Anyways, check out our eBay. The link is in the description. Follow me on Facebook and X for more motorsports content. Those links are also in the description. As always, thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time. See ya. Peace.